Hey, it's your boy Sergeant Hugden Henshins. This is part two of Writer Retrospectives on Kamen Rider X8. Part one, we talked about the story slash writing and the characters. This part will be mainly focused on the overall aesthetics. So we're talking about suits, gimmicks, belts, effects, attacks, forms, all that kind of stuff, and then the music slash overall sound design. This should be in a playlist here altogether, so it should go sequentially. So go back and watch part one if you've not watched part one to get here. I also did before this, I focused on Kamen Rider Ghost, and I'm kind of going in order of the seasons I watched up until more current, and then going backwards. Some of the other seasons I watched, a little bit farther back. But yeah, so we'll just kind of jump into it then. Overall, the aesthetics in this show are beautiful, in my opinion. Again, like I said in the first part, it's kind of odd the hatred that this season gets at times. I don't know why it does. I think because things are very vibrant and pink and green and yellow and stuff like that. Color schemes and stuff like that. People aren't a fan of, and that's fine. But people that get like real heated and angry and dark about this show as if it's like it killed their mom or something. Like, people need to just relax. Like, maybe not as much now. I mean, it's more of a thing back in the day, but I just don't understand it. But anyway, yeah, overall I really like everything about this, how things work. I love the gas jets. They're a really fun gimmick item. Overall, I like that it's got a little like artwork right here. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus. Yeah, little artwork right there that shows you Mighty Action X, and it's got the little side here, little buttons there, little handle. It's nice to kind of spin around your finger. And then the driver itself is cool because it's one of the main drivers in Rider that one of the few anyway, in my opinion. I think I'm trying to think of some others that doesn't have any electronics in it at all. Usually we get like sometimes gimmick things or attachment things that don't have electronics, and then when you put something in it, it'll activate some different sound in that gimmick item. But this driver has nothing. It's just you open this up after you put the gashet in, and that activates level 2 of that gashet, and then you get a little, because the mirror's in here, you get a little reflective 3D image thing going on here, which is kind of cool the way the tech works with it. It's very simple. And then you have 2 slots. So you have, main slot, what you transform into, and then the secondary slot, which is like an add-on to it. I think like X8 had the Gekitosu Robots one. I think I'm trying to think. Brave had Dory Mifa Beats. I think there was like a Jet Combat one for Snipe, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so like a second one that would add on some armor to them and a secondary ability. Then you would close it and then open it again to do a final attack and stuff like that. So it's really cool how the gimmick items work. I have actually a bunch of them. I have Mighty Action X, I have Maximum Mighty X, and I have Hyper Move Tech. I still want to get Mighty Brothers Double, but don't have it yet. But anyway, someday. But all the things are really well designed. They really it's very clear what they do and what they look like overall. I really enjoy that. So it's a very tight design for the belt and for the driver and for the collectible gimmick items for the season. And I think that really works well for this season because you kind of have to ground it a little bit because of having this kind of crazy premise of basically video game characters fighting evil viruses and trying to save lives, and they're doctors and blah blah blah. So it's kind of interesting that way. And I think the gamer driver is the main driver other than the Buggle driver. I don't have that. That one's kind of interesting too because that's one that Kuroto Dan uses for his Dangerous Zombie form, which is really cool. And actually, I think his dad uses for Kamen Rider Chronicle to slot in and become Kronos. So those are really cool. I like those. And some of the little weapons and things like that are cool. Very well stylized. I think the weapons have like little buttons on them, A and B buttons and stuff. So I like that. I think that's a really cool way to bring in the game aesthetic without trying to be like one system or another. I mean, it's kind of Nintendo-y, but it also could be a lot of things. It's a very good thorough line design is what I'm trying to say. Like, everything makes sense all together, and also like separate. you know, each gadget having its own little box art pretty much on it, its own sound effects, different things it does in the driver depending on what slot it's in. Um, Overall, the driver and the gimmicks are fantastic, very vibrant, very well designed. Um, Past that, the suits are some of my favorite suits in all of Kamen Rider. I only own one figure arts, which is Kamen Rider Vulcan from Zero One, and we'll get there eventually to Zero One, definitely. Um, but I would love to own a figure arts of Hyper Muteki. Oh my goodness. Um, all the suits are really well put together and they're very unique from one another, which I like. Very good design principles between them, and like when you get the different leveled up forms, it takes that base form and just brings it up another notch. It goes something from X-Aids, you know, Mighty Action X level 1 gamer or level 2 gamer, whatever, to Mighty Brothers Double X, which is essentially just a different colored version of X-Aid with two sides to it, and then something from that to Max and Mighty X, and then also Hyper Muteki, all really well designed. And you can see the thoroughfare design where X8's original form going through it, like it makes sense. And I think that's really strong in that. Same thing for Brave and First Night and for Laser. Um, Kuroto Dan's a little different. Dangerous Zombie has elements of Proto Mighty Action X in it, but is unique enough to be its own form. And that's pretty much most what he gets. I mean, there's the special where he gets his own Maximum Mighty X, I can't remember what it was called, some goofy like purple version of it basically. But his forms look really great. As does Kronos. I really like Kronos' suit, is really cool. And the Ride Player suit, and I like that Nico, who's I forgot to mention in the last video, a friend of Taiga's, gets her she becomes a Ride Player and she like customizes it, and every time she uses it to transform, it stays in that customized form. I like that. That was a cool, nice touch. Um, Poppy's suit is okay. I just wish that she got more upgrades, but any upgrades at all, but she doesn't, and that kind of bothers me. Um, that's again the thing, like I said in Ghost, that it's kind of a problem with riders sometimes. That the female riders are either A, non-existent, B, only there to be killed, C, exist for a few seconds and then are depowered, or D, get like one form and that's it. So, um, anyway, yeah. So overall, I really enjoyed the suits. I think they're really well designed. They're very vibrant. They're very well put together. They all have the like visor with like the eyes and stuff on it, which not everybody likes. Some people are like, oh, it's very anime inspired, or it's, you know, too goofy looking, whatever. I just really like it. It's not very Kamen Rider in terms of like having a bug aesthetic to it, but there are elements to it that still make it fit into the overall rider motif, if you will. Um, so I do really enjoy the suits. I'd say my favorite suit's probably Hyper Muteki, followed closely by Maximum Mighty X, and then probably Paradox Level 99 and Danger Zombie, right there. Um, but they're all very unique, very well put together. The pieces on it are very nice. It all flows really well. The effects are really cool in this show. There's a lot of use of game jargon. So there's like, you know, level up is used a lot, and game over, game clear, hit, miss, um, how the attacks work, the critical slash, critical attack, whatever it is, all are very much stylized in the way they look on screen and the way that they're voiced to evoke a sense of video games and give you that kind of feeling. They do a good job of pulling that aesthetic together. Again, it's a very tightly knit, well put together theme that's very well designed, and like comes together very strongly. There's never a part of it where you're like, that does not really feel very video game like. Everything does. Every part of it feels it. Kamen Rider Chronicles very MMO like. X8's very platformer like. Brave's very, you know, adventure-y, Skyrim-y, Final Fantasy like. And his gosh, that's called Tattle Fantasy. I mean, literally almost Final Fantasy itself. Um, yeah, so it's just very easy to see the design aesthetic between each rider and how their attacks are different from each other with the colors and the sounds, and everything else is really, really good. I really enjoy it, and whenever I hear the sounds from it or somebody reference it, I'm like, oh yes, and I remember my time watching it and how much I loved the season. Um, so yeah, like I said, suits are really great. Clearly the gimmicks belt is really cool. And the weapons overall, the forms. Um, Another thing with the aesthetics I wanted to kind of add in here that I want to try and keep in for next parts of this video, like this part of the like part two of these, throughout the rest of the retrospectives is that I think that the power scaling is pretty good in this season. It takes a while to get to certain forms, and it makes sense when they get them, and it doesn't. It's not like it's unearned, and it doesn't feel like it's too quick. And I like that. Um, yeah. So overall, I really like I said, I really like the suits and the gimmicks and the belt. Um, so besides that, we need to talk about the music and sound design. Music in this show is a really good mix of being like drama and serious bits, but also bits that kind of are very 8-bit and video game inspired. Um, it's okay, I was getting a package. um, so I really like that with the music and the sound effects. The sound effects are all very, bloop bloop, and very platformy, Mario-y sounding. The I like the transformation announcement, like standby music for each thing is really cool. One that sticks in my mind is I'm ready for battleship for what was that? I gotta think of bang bang, yeah, bang bang simulations, which is Snipe's like level up form, level 50 form or whatever it was. Um, yeah, so the little standby jingles are really good and they're all very unique. Another one that stands out is Paradoxes is really good. But what's the next stage? But what's really cool is he has a separate one for his two like sides of his gadget. It's a dual gadget. He can like switch it. This little turn knob on it. Knob, really. Um, and each side has like a unique sound effect for it. You know how it sounds. But then when he does the um, combined form for Paradox Level 99. Has its own jingle and its own like set of effects and music and everything, and I really like that. I thought that was really good. Like I said, I'm a sucker for like very in your face, vibrant. One thing I say in some of my other videos, if you've not watched any of my other ones, if you have, you know what I mean. I like things that yell at me. I don't know what it is when it's Toku stuff, when it's like super loud and vibrant and over the top. It speaks to my soul. I like it. And a lot of writer stuff does. I mean, some is a little more subdued. Like Decades isn't like that loud in my opinion, but XA is very loud and vibrant, and I like that. And the sound design works so well with the aesthetics because it helps to differentiate, yes, each rider and like Monster or Bugster and what have you, but also it gives the season its very own identity, very unique from other seasons. Not that there's really any season that sounds exactly like another season, but you know when you're hearing an X-Aid final attack or an X-Aid sound effect as compared to a Kuga or Blade, Hibiki, something like that. It all cohesively comes together very well. Hi, honey. um, but yeah, so like I said, overall, I really enjoy the sound and music design. It's really, really good. There are moments in the music that is serious moments where they have some really good orchestral parts. There's other parts where there's funny moments and they use more of the video game sound effects. They do this thing visually where like they use this like glitch effect sometimes to really good comedic effect in my opinion. And overall it just works. It's a very funny series, and I think the aesthetics kind of work in that direction as well. Yes, they work in the direction of giving like a threat to like Kuroto-dan and his dad and the Bugsters and what have you, and a reverence, if you will, to the forms that the people gain throughout the series, but also to like highlight some of the funny moments and things like that too. It's one of the seasons that I've probably laughed at the most while watching. I had a lot of moments there in Build and probably Geo as well in 01, but it's a really funny season and a very, I don't want to say lighthearted, but a very jumpy kind of makes you feel good kind of season because it's just very like positive and upbeat. And it has its dark moments, of course, but like I said, the aesthetics along with the music and sound design do a great job of pulling all those things together and giving it its own true identity. So yeah, that's kind of gonna, I think, cut it for this part of it. That's okay, honey. Don't worry about it. You live here too. Not you, Ned. You be quiet. That's my dog, Ned. So I think it's gonna kind of cut it for the video. I think this is a pretty good stopping point before I ramble on too long. But clearly I'm a huge fan of vibrant, glowy, loud things that talk to me and such. But yeah, so the next part is going to finally, talk about fight choreography, which I'm really excited to talk about because there's some really cool fights in this season. And also my final thoughts / my rating like on the season overall. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments what you think of the overall aesthetics. Did you hate the suit? Did you love them? Did you kind of middle ground them. What did you think about the sound of the music? You know, similarly, how did you hate it, love it, whatever. Hopefully you like the video, dislike it too. I don't, it doesn't really bother me that much because it just means I'm getting, you know, something, views and all that. I thank you guys so much for the views and for the subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. It blows my mind that like here, you know, every other few days I check, I have a few more subscribers than last time. No, I don't have thousands and thousands, but the ones I have, I truly appreciate. I always will, no matter how many I have. It's not about how many I have. It's about putting out content that I hope you guys are enjoying and that I have fun making. When I stop having fun making it, and you guys don't enjoy it as much, then there's no point in continuing. You know. So, as it is now, I'm having a blast, and I'm happy that you guys are too. So, thank you guys so much for your time. Thank you guys for watching the video. Look out for part 3, and stay hooked on engines. Like always, finger guns. Why do I do this? Okay, goodbye.